Hey guys, Buckskin Dave here. Well, we're going to try something a little different today. I'm ordering some stuff to make those pronghorn sheaths into some shot flasks. So we got to wait for those to come. And I've been reading this book. It's the Breech Loading Single Shot Rifle. It's written by Major Ned Roberts and Ken Waters, and this book was written a long time ago in the turn of the century, you know, late 1800s, 1900s, at the 40s or so. Black powder cartridge rifle, the Schutzen Matches, became really a big sport. Anyway, they wrote this book, and what's really cool about this book is it was written by Major Roberts, but it was finished by Ken Waters. So some of the stuff that Roberts lived through, some of the shooting times that he lived through, is some of the old time stuff that's really kind of interesting if you want to get back to the old basics. One of the things I think I'm having a problem with this 50 is, and it's not a big deal for hunting anyway, and it's a hunting rifle for me, it's not a target rifle. But the thing is I think after 3 or 4 shots, I'm starting to get too much buildup. And I know I don't use a blow tube or anything, and I probably should, but I think that's what's changing. After 3 shots, I think my center is just a little bit bigger, my group. Anyway, so I was reading in this book. Now, a lot of these rifles were smaller calibers. But one of the things I read, they did have smokeless powder at the turn of the century. And I'm not going to sit here and read this book to you. But like in 1908, DuPont was a big powder company back then. They made what they call the Schutzen smokeless. And that was just a workover of an earlier one, which was #1 rifle smokeless. They went through several different powders and stuff that were smokeless, but they also they found that if they used smokeless powder in some of the rifles only and made a smokeless load like you and I might make with smokeless load, they weren't as accurate as the black powder. What they were doing, and this is nothing new, obviously, because this book was, you know, from stuff in the 40s and 30s and stuff. But anyway, what they would do is they'd load about 8 grains of DuPont #1 smokeless rifle powder in the bottom of the shell, and then fill it up with black powder, put a cardboard wad in there, and squish it down. And I will read this one part. The smokeless powder priming caused the rifle to shoot very clean indeed by preventing the black powder residue from fouling the bore, so that 100 shots or more could be fired without wiping the bore, and its fine accuracy secured with the last shot as with the first. Anyway, back in the old days, and I say the old days because this loading manual, this Lyman loading manual that I have, this is the 46th edition, and I believe I bought this in the 80s. So let's see what the let's see if it has a publish date. 82. Anyway, I've used this manual since 1982. I have newer ones also because it's good to keep up with what's going on. So they have duplex loads in here, and one of the powders that they use, or they recommend in here, is, ooh, look at what we got, 4759. We've already been through this one. This would be good to use as a priming powder because I only got like 2 cans of this, and they stopped making this one. Anyway, some of the other powders they recommend in when they came out they had, you know, they show in there, you need to get the book and read it. It's really great reading. They had some of the 3 or 4 older powders, and then they evolved into 3 or 4 more powders. They evolved into 4198, 3031, and 4759. These all powders succeeded the ones from the earlier days. So in this book, it recommends, now I gotta tell you, they tell you not to put smokeless powder in black powder stuff. It'd be interesting to fiddle around with this a little with the cartridge gun. I've never done it. So I loaded up one deal here, one piece, and shot it at the 100-yard target and hit it first time. It didn't seem to have any pressure problems, didn't boot irregularly or anything. So I'm going to load up some of them, and we're going to run them through the Chrony and put them on some paper and see what we get out of it. I think it'd be kind of fun. What I was going to say, when I rudely interrupted myself, you have to be extremely, this is not a time to be haphazard in your loading. You have to put the correct amount of smokeless, and go find a book and look it up for a duplex load. The correct amount of smokeless, the correct amount of black powder, the correct amount of compression, all that has to come together for your shot. And you know, don't goof up and put a whole bunch of smokeless in a little bit of black powder. It's not, that isn't going to work. It's got to be the other way around. So I shot this one, and I looked down the bore of the rifle, and boy, it looks quite a bit cleaner. I mean, it's still dirty, and you still got to clean it, but it's probably maybe half as fouled. So that may allow me to shoot more shots and get a better group. With 5 or 6, like a 5-shot group, I might get a better group. I don't know. Anyway, stick around, get some coffee, and we're going to load some of these up, and as soon as this wind quits, we're going to shoot some. So I'm going to go ahead and do my brass the same way. Now, oh, you see all this junk that come out of here? This is pure black powder, okay? When I knocked the powder, or did this with the one that I just shot, like none of this crap came out. It really cleaned that black powder. And like I say, I probably will never use this. I just thought it'd be an interesting thing to try. And that's what we're gonna do with it today. It's kind of windy out here. I'm gonna try this one out. I want to Chrony one of these, because if they're going too fast, they're not gonna do as much good out of this rifle. So this bullet here got chipped a little bit when I was sizing it, so I'm going to just use it for a Chrony, and I'm going to dump it into our bullet catch down there. So let's see what the things are going, and we'll take a look at the barrel and see. Oh yeah, see, this is okay. Okay, so 1422, that's a little fast for this rifle. So, well, we can check and see if it's accurate. Usually when I get above 1325 with this rifle, accuracy suffers. So we'll have to play with it, but that is a start. So if it blows off my cowboy hat, it's too windy. Anyway, I just looked down the barrel, and I fired 2 shots of these duplex loads, and it's at least 50% better than it would have been straight, and maybe even 60-70% cleaner. I think I could shoot these a lot more shots using duplex loads. So I got one of them Schutzen targets out there. 25, 26 yards. So we're going to try 3 of those ones that we loaded with a little bit of, this is a duplex load, has a little bit of smokeless and the rest of black powder. And I chronied it at 1422. That's a little fast, but I want to fire 3 of them anyway and just see if it's any better than just straight black powder at 1422. So we'll give these a try, and then we'll try something else. Okay, we're gonna have to get up here. So there we go. Okay, it did go, I can see it, it went, oh, just maybe a half an inch to the left of center, and it's about 1.5 inches high. So, and man, I'll tell you what, that barrel, I mean, it has some fouling in it, but it's pretty clean. Okay, I just loaded one. I'm going to go ahead and chrony it. I cut back the 1F quite a bit, but I left the 4759 at the same. So it should be as clean. It should slow it down. I'll go ahead and chrony one, and if it's chronying down where I want it, I'll load 2 more, and we'll try to group it. So I still haven't cleaned the barrel, and I think after this last grouping we will clean it. So we'll see what happens. Here we go. $12.68. $12.68. So it's in that 13 area. That one hit smack dab where I was aiming, right in the little white center. So I'm going to load 2 more of them and see how it groups. Come here. Come on. Come here. Get over here. Okay, I loaded 2 more up. Let's see what we get out of it. Then I think we'll try the 4590 next. Quite a bit lower on 1156. Huh. Well, I'm not sure how much consistency we're going to keep with it. Come here. Hey, teaspoon. Here. Good girl. One more shot and then you can go downrange. I haven't cleaned this yet, and I'm thinking I probably should. It's starting to get a little tight putting the bullets in the chamber. Here we go. $12.79. Pretty much staying pretty consistent. Let's see what the accuracy department has to say. Okay, well, slowing her down does the trick. As far as the first one I shot before the very first one before I loaded, it's right here, and then there's another one right here on the other side, and then okay, I got one more here that I want to give it a try and see if it'll put it in the same place as the rest of them, which it should. Nice. Well, they have same amount of smoke. Smells like black powder. And I've shot like 10 rounds through this thing, and it's as clean as the first one. There's a little bit of dirt in there, you know. It's pretty clean, all in all. Okay, guys, that wind is starting to pick up again, and we saw what happens with the wind. This thing here, I've shot 10 rounds through it. The last 3 rounds were touching. I'm only shooting 25, 30 yards, whatever that is out there. But it's clean. Not as clean as just pure smokeless, but boy, it's a lot cleaner than a pure black powder. So, duplex loads, love them or hate them, it's your call. I only had a couple of rounds of empty brass for the 4590. I never had an accuracy problem with the 4590. It seems to shoot everything pretty good. Same thing, the rifle's a lot cleaner. I think you can shoot more rounds of black powder with a duplex load accurately. You won't get the fouling getting in your way. But pretty much the same thing. It got really windy and I couldn't keep the camera. You wouldn't have been able to hear me when I was shooting it anyway. So, but it basically the same thing. The gun a lot cleaner. So duplex loads, love them or hate them. If you got to do it, or if you want to do it, just don't confuse the smokeless with the black powder. Make sure you put a little bit of smokeless and a full charge of your black powder, and you'll be okay. Try to find a book that has the powders that you're going to use, because like I say, this stuff here is obsolete. You may not be able to find it again. It is the only powder that this book showed for the duplex loads. Yes. It's the only powder it showed for duplex. So, you know, make sure you find a book that has this stuff in it and it has the safe measures that you can do. But then again, just be careful with it. It's almost a little bit too much trouble for me for hunting loads anyway. I'll just dump my black powder in there and go. But it seemed like I had, well, with 10 rounds, I had a lot tighter group at the end of 10 rounds with it. So it does have some merit. Anyway, love them or hate them, I'm Buckskin Dave. Thanks for dropping in for the show. I'll see you next time. You guys stay safe out there. Bye-bye.